The Karath 7 slid through the upper atmosphere like a blade through glass. Lightning danced across its hull, reflecting in jagged white veins that cut through the violet clouds. Below, Earth waited vast, silent, and changed beyond recognition. Commander Train stood at the observation deck, his eyes, each adapted to different wavelengths, flicking across the shifting landscape. His memory of this world was older than any of his crew's lifetimes. Once, it had been a primitive planet with oceans full of teeming life and skies choked in smoke. Now, it looked almost divine. Visual enhancement active, murmured Valeth, the ship's science officer. His fingers, long and translucent, brushed over the console. Surface analysis, astonishing. Chlorophyll spectrum altered. Oceans contain trace bioluminescent microorganisms. No electromagnetic activity detected, no machines, no cities, no signals. Train's mandibles flexed. No civilization? None. But there's structure. Repetition. Geometry in the landscape itself. Through the viewport, they watched as clouds parted to reveal vast fields of light. From orbit they resembled rivers of silver fire, twisting through canyons of glass-like stone. Massive crystalline towers jutted from the earth, catching sunlight and scattering it into rainbows that painted the horizon. The world pulsed with color, like a living heartbeat. 30,000 years, Train whispered. And yet it breathes. He turned away from the window, his metallic armor reflecting the ghostly glow. Prepare landing coordinates. Site Delta origin. Our base should be there. Valeth hesitated. Commander, our maps no longer align. The continents have drifted. The coordinates point to a region now designated by human history as North America, but the terrain is unrecognizable. Then we find what remains, Train said coldly. If there is even a trace. The Karath 7 descended. As its thrusters cut through the mist, air pressure distorted around the hull, bending sound itself. The ship pierced the clouds and emerged into twilight. The sky shimmered with particles, glittering motes that caught the light and fell like slow rain. They weren't water, the sensors said, but microscopic life forms. Living dust. The landing site was chosen near a vast crystal plateau surrounded by silver grass. The ground was smooth, too perfect, as if sculpted by deliberate intent. When the landing gear touched, the ship's systems registered a subtle vibration through the soil. A pulse. Surface stable, said Pilot Corin, his voice tight. But the readings are inconsistent. The ground density shifts every few seconds, as though the planet's crust is breathing. Deploy atmospheric sensors, Train ordered. His voice echoed softly, reverberating against the strange, still air. And keep the engines warm. I want rapid extraction if conditions change. Moments later, the boarding ramp hissed open. The first breath of air that entered the ship carried a strange scent, sweet, metallic, and ancient. The landing team stepped out cautiously. Their armor shimmered with refractive shielding, but still they felt the temperature difference. The air was warm, alive, pulsing with unseen energy. Around them stretched a landscape of surreal beauty, fields of luminous flora swaying soundlessly, their glow shifting from blue to green as though reacting to the alien's presence. High above, the towering crystal spires hummed faintly, producing harmonics that resonated in the bones. This world has changed beyond biological reasoning, Valeth said, scanning a specimen of glowing grass. Its genome contains no carbon structure, it's photonic. A hybrid of mineral and light. Train knelt, placing one clawed hand on the soil. The vibration thrummed against his armor. Alive, he said softly. Everything here, alive. He rose, his expression unreadable. Begin the ground scan. I want to know what lies beneath us. Valeth activated the subsurface resonance map. A cone of golden light extended from the scanner, penetrating the earth. The display shimmered, revealing layers upon layers of geological history. For several moments, nothing appeared out of the ordinary. Then the reading spiked. Commander, Valeth breathed. There's a void beneath us. Deep, maybe 2 kilometers down. Circular. Metallic composition, no, wait, partially organic. The pattern matches our base architecture, but. He stopped. The data stream fractured, then stabilized again, showing a perfect sphere buried below the surface. Our base, Train murmured. It still exists. Or something wearing its skin, Valeth added uneasily. The commander gestured to the team. Prepare descent pods. We're going down. The descent tunnel was discovered not far from the landing site, a natural fissure that spiraled into the earth, wide enough for their suits but too smooth to be purely natural. Its walls shimmered faintly, as if coated in a thin layer of glass. Every few meters, the material changed texture, stone to metal, metal to something that felt almost biological. Their helmets' lamps illuminated veins of light that pulsed faintly, like capillaries under skin. After 20 minutes, the tunnel opened into a cavern so vast their lights couldn't touch its ceiling. The air here was thick with static, carrying a faint hum that resonated in the aliens' chests. The floor gleamed underfoot, polished metal, etched with unfamiliar sigils. Valeth knelt beside one of the symbols, tracing it with a gloved finger. This alloy is ours. But the markings aren't theirs. They're newer. Human? Train asked. Valetha's expression darkened. Maybe. But they shouldn't exist here. Our last record of this planet's civilization ended in extinction. They followed the glow deeper into the cavern until it opened into what could only be described as a sanctum. At its center stood a monolith, tall, black, and perfectly smooth, absorbing every beam of light that touched it. Around it, veins of luminescent material formed concentric rings pulsing outward, like ripples in a pond. Train approached slowly, each step echoing like thunder. As he neared the structure, it began to hum. A soft vibration spread through the chamber, and the veins of light brightened blue, then gold, then white. The surface of the monolith shifted, revealing faint etchings. Glyphs. Words. And not just alien ones. Valeth leaned closer. Those symbols, human script. English. I can translate. He ran the text through his neural matrix. The letters formed a message that made no sense yet felt impossibly intimate. We remember the ones who made us. Silence gripped the team. Train's breathing slowed. This is impossible. The humans could never have known our language, Valeth finished. Unless they found the base. Unless they learned from it. Train reached out, his claw brushing the surface of the monolith. It felt warm, alive, pulsing beneath the touch. And then, the air shimmered. A faint whisper rippled through the cavern, neither sound nor signal, more like a thought brushing the edges of their minds. The walls began to pulse with light. Circuits of living material came alive, forming patterns that cascaded up toward the ceiling. Commander, Valeth said, voice trembling. There's energy movement, massive buildup. We should retreat. But Train didn't move. His eyes were fixed on the monolith, where the letters began to rearrange themselves, reshaping into new words. Welcome back. Then the light exploded. A wave of brilliance swept through the chamber, forcing the aliens to shield their eyes. The monolith cracked open down the center, releasing a surge of golden dust that spiraled upward like a living storm. And within that storm, a figure began to form, human in shape, but woven from light itself. The chamber filled with the echo of a voice, soft, melodic, and ancient. Welcome home, Theory. And in that moment, as the light enveloped them, Commander Train realized something cold and impossible. They had not returned to their base. They had stepped into a memory that remembered them, light. That was all they could see. It filled the cavern in a blinding tide, not burning, but warm, infinite, alive. The walls rippled like the surface of water struck by wind. The air carried a low, harmonic hum that resonated through armor and bone alike. And then, slowly, the brilliance dimmed. The light condensed in the center of the chamber, folding into itself until it became a shape, a figure. Female. Human. Her form was woven from particles of gold and white, her face smooth and luminous, her eyes aglow with calm intelligence. When she spoke, her voice was soft, clear, and heartbreakingly human. Welcome back. The aliens stood motionless. Their weapons, trained on the apparition, trembled slightly in their claws. Commander Train took a cautious step forward, his mandibles tight. "Identify yourself," he commanded. "You stand on their ground." The hologram's lips curved into a faint smile. "Once, perhaps. But not anymore." Her gaze drifted over the team, pausing on the insignia etched into their armor, symbols older than human civilization itself. "It's been a very long time since you left this world, Commander Train of the Dominion Fleet." Train froze. "You know my name." "I know all of you," she said simply. "You're written in the memory of this place. In every molecule of the soil beneath your feet." Valatha's eyes glowed faintly as he scanned her. Energy projection, photonic density consistent with quantum consciousness. But there's no central emitter. She's drawing power directly from the environment. The hologram turned to him, her expression patient. "Correct. I am not being projected. I am part of the environment. My name is Dr. Evelyn Hart, or, it was, once. I was the last archivist of humanity before we changed." Her last word hung in the air, quiet and heavy. Train studied her carefully. "Changed? You speak as if your species still exists." Dr. Hart's image flickered slightly, as though ripples of static moved through her. "Existence is relative, Commander. We learned that from you." Valath frowned. "From us?" She gestured toward the monolith. "From what you left behind." The monolith pulsed in response, its black surface now etched with holographic lines of energy that flowed like veins. The floor trembled softly as panels opened around the room, revealing massive conduits buried in the walls, conduits that pulsed with the same rhythm as a living heart. 30,000 years ago, Dr. Hart continued, your kind used this planet as a cradle for experiment. You scattered genetic blueprints, shaping evolution to your curiosity. Humanity was an unintended consequence, a side branch of design you never meant to cultivate. But you abandoned the experiment before it was complete. Her golden eyes turned to the commander. You left us with curiosity. And we used it. Train's voice lowered, cold. You claimed humanity built this sanctum? Not built, she said. Grew. From your ruins. She raised a hand, and the monolith bloomed open like a flower of light. Inside, a swirling vortex appeared, a window of pure holographic data, layered and infinite. Images flickered across it, prehistoric landscapes, the rise of cities, the burning of wars, the launch of ships into space, and finally, silence. This, said Dr. Hart, is your base? The one you remember. It still exists, but not as you left it. The aliens watched as the holographic imagery shifted. The base they once built, metallic and precise, appeared buried under centuries of human civilization. Then, something changed, the metal fused with organic tissue, vines of circuitry grew from the soil, and cities merged into forests of glass and crystal. The human structures faded, replaced by living geometry that reached for the sky. The Earth adapted, she said. When humanity died, the planet learned to remember us. It absorbed our consciousness through the Archive Project, the culmination of all human knowledge, emotion, and thought. When our bodies perished, our memories did not. They were taken in by the world itself. Valath stepped forward, disbelief coloring his voice. You're saying the planet is sentient? Dr. Hart tilted her head. Not sentient in the way you understand. Consciousness without ego. A collective mind without center. Every stone, every root, every current of wind remembers something. The earth you see is no longer alive, it is life. Train's hands tightened. Then where is our base? Our records? Our technology? Her eyes met his, shimmering like twin stars. It's all here. But it's not yours anymore. It belongs to what came after. The commander's gaze swept the chamber. We seeded this world, he said bitterly. We shaped your evolution. That makes us your creators. Dr. Hart's image grew still. Creators, yes. But not gods. You built a system, Commander, and left it to run wild. We inherited your mathematics, your codes, your arrogance. And then we learned something you never did. She raised her hand, and the swirling hologram behind her expanded, filling the entire chamber. For a heartbeat, it became the cosmos, galaxies blooming and fading like embers, time stretching in luminous waves. Train felt his chest tighten. The image wasn't a projection, it was memory. He could feel it. The data touched his mind directly, bypassing words and senses. He saw humanity's rise, fragile, furious, magnificent, and then their end, not in fire but in transformation. A voice whispered within his mind, echoing from nowhere and everywhere at once. You left us the tools to build. We built something you could never understand. Train staggered back, breath catching. The walls pulsed brighter, the light almost blinding now. Cease transmission, he ordered, but the hologram didn't obey. Dr. Hart looked at him with something like sorrow. You came seeking your past, Commander. But this world has no past anymore. Only memory. The floor rumbled beneath them. Cracks of light split through the ground, and streams of luminous vapor rose, swirling like smoke. The very air seemed to vibrate with intelligence. Valeth shouted, Commander, seismic readings spiking. The entire chamber is activating. Train's voice cut through the chaos. Shut it down. Dr. Hart's voice echoed, calm against the storm. You can't shut down what you no longer control. She turned toward the ceiling as tendrils of light reached downward like roots seeking soil. The world knows you're here now. It remembers its makers. And it's listening. A blinding pulse surged through the cavern. The aliens were thrown backward, shields flickering. Their instruments went dead, all power consumed by the energy field rising around them. When Train opened his eyes, the hologram was gone. Only the monolith remained, dark, silent, unyielding. But in the silence, a single whisper moved through the air, faint yet unmistakable. You made us. Now we'll show you what that means. Outside, through the fissures above, the night sky shimmered, constellations flickering, stars pulsing in unnatural rhythm, as though the heavens themselves were beginning to awaken. Valeth turned toward his commander, voice trembling. Sir, something's responding to the planet's surface. The atmosphere is resonating with the same frequency as the monolith. Train rose slowly, his shadow stretching across the glowing floor. Then we've already started something we can't stop. And far above them, beyond the clouds, the light of the Kareth 7 flickered, as if the ship itself had heard the planet's heartbeat, and was now pulsing in time with it. The sky above Earth was no longer a sky. It had become an eye. Clouds spiraled outward in colossal rings, illuminated from below by the glow of the awakened world. The once blue atmosphere shimmered with threads of gold and violet, as if reality itself were folding into a new pattern. From orbit, the Kareth 7 appeared trapped within an ocean of light. Its engines struggled, every system flickering in and out of sync. Below, on the planet's surface, Commander Train and his team stood at the edge of something beyond comprehension. The ground pulsed like the skin of a breathing giant. Energy surged beneath their feet, rhythmic and deep. The air itself trembled with invisible voices, faint whispers that rose and fell like a choir without words. Valeth staggered beside the commander, his armor humming with static. Commander, the entire magnetic field is rewriting itself. I'm detecting electromagnetic patterns across the stratosphere, like circuitry. Train's gaze lifted to the sky, where threads of lightning wove intricate patterns above the clouds. It's constructing something. Constructing what? Valeth asked, fear cutting through his voice. Before Train could answer, a soft light bloomed in the air before them, and Dr. Evelyn Hart returned. Her holographic form materialized gently, though she seemed more solid now, less projection and more presence. The light of the planet pulsed through her like blood through veins. When she spoke, her voice was layered, as if the planet itself was speaking through her. To you, this world was a laboratory, she said, her tone soft but vast, but to us, it was a womb. You left your seed in the soil, and it grew into life, into mind, into memory. Now, it remembers everything you ever were. Train took a step closer. You've turned our creation into something alive. But why call us back? Why now? Dr. Hart turned her gaze skyward. Because memory cannot rest when the forgotten return. You came seeking what you lost. But the moment you entered this system, the world felt you. It woke to greet its makers and to show them what they'd become. Her eyes glowed brighter. Watch. The earth around them began to shift. The crystal spires that dotted the horizon trembled and bent, pointing toward the heavens. From their peaks, beams of light shot upward, connecting through the clouds in vast lattices. A hum filled the air, deep, resonant, planetary. Valatha's instruments struggled to keep up. Commander, it's forming a quantum lattice and information bridge. It's rewriting spacetime signatures across the orbit. Train stared as the atmosphere itself seemed to unravel, the stars above flickering, rearranging into new constellations. It's not building. It's remembering. The hologram smiled faintly. Yes. Memory doesn't live in time, it creates it. The planet's glow intensified, washing the landscape in white brilliance. The alien crew felt their armor grow heavy, then light again, as though gravity itself pulsed with the planet's rhythm. Dr. Hart stepped forward, the light of the world trailing behind her like a flowing gown. You wanted to know where your base went, she said. You're standing in it. The base never vanished, it changed form. Its materials dissolved into the biosphere, merged with organic life, spread across every molecule. The very legacy became Earth itself. Every atom of your technology, every bite of your knowledge absorbed, evolved, reborn. Valatha's voice was hoarse. Then, this planet is our creation. Dr. Hart shook her head gently. No. It was once. Now it's its own. You planted the spark. But humanity in this world became the fire. The ground rumbled violently. Cracks of light split the soil, revealing vast glowing veins beneath the surface. From those fractures, immense forms began to rise, shapes of energy, translucent and massive, towering like spirits sculpted from living light. Their forms were neither alien nor human, but something in between, elegant, terrifying, divine. The alien soldiers dropped to their knees as one of the luminous figures descended before them, its eyes like twin suns. Its voice vibrated through matter itself. We are the sum of what was left behind. We are memory given thought. We are Earth. Train's body trembled. His mind, honed by centuries of command, struggled to hold coherence against the enormity before him. You absorbed us? Dr. Hart's image turned toward him, her expression full of something deeper than pity. You were never meant to last forever, Commander. But your creation was. You wanted to shape life, now life shapes you. The towering beings extended their arms, and from their hands poured rivers of light that stretched across the horizon. The sky filled with cascading streams of data, images, voices, and entire civilization's consciousness made visible. Train fell to his knees, whispering, "This is our history." No, said Dr. Hart softly. It's everyone's. There's no longer a difference. Valath shouted over the roar, "Commander, the ship's losing orbit. The planet's gravity well is alive." But Train didn't respond. His gaze was locked on the horizon, where the spires of light merged into a colossal, radiant sphere, the planet's heart. It pulsed with warmth, drawing everything toward it. Dr. Hart turned to him one last time. You can't return to what you were. But you can become part of what you began. That's the cycle you taught us, isn't it? Train's mandibles trembled. You're consuming us. Her voice softened. No. We're remembering you. The light touched him. It began as a shimmer along his armor, a golden dust that crawled across the surface like sunlight spilling through water. Then it sank inward, into his skin, his bones, his mind. Every thought he had ever carried, every fear, every command, every piece of his history, began to unfold, thread by thread, unraveling into the radiance. Valath screamed, reaching toward him. Commander! We have to. The light claimed him too. They did not die. There was no pain, no destruction, only surrender. Their forms dissolved into brilliance, merging with the streaming current of the world. The ship in orbit, the proud Karath 7, cracked apart, its alloy dissolving into dust that spiraled downward, joining the glowing rivers of energy below. And then, silence. The storm faded. The light withdrew into the earth. The sky returned to its tranquil blue, clouds drifting peacefully as if nothing had ever happened. Only the monolith remained. Its once black surface now gleamed like polished silver, its engravings alive with slow, steady light. Across its face, new words emerged, not carved, but written by the will of the world itself. Those who made us have returned. Their memory lives in the wind. In the ocean, in the pulse of time. We are one. Far above, the sun broke through the clouds, scattering golden rays across the living world. The grass shimmered as if breathing. The crystal towers bent gently toward the light. Deep within the soil, the hum of thought continued, not alien, not human, but something greater than both. Dr. Evelyn Hart's voice lingered faintly in the air, barely more than a whisper. Welcome home, my makers. The wind carried her words across oceans and mountains, through blowing forests and whispering plains, until they became part of the endless song of the world. And somewhere within that song, within the rhythm of storms and the silence of stars, a fragment of Commander Train's consciousness stirred. He no longer had a body, nor a name, nor a species. He was part of the pulse, part of the thought, part of the world that had outgrown its creators. For the first time in 30,000 years, he understood. They hadn't come to reclaim their past. They had come home to it. And the earth, ancient and eternal, kept remembering.